the freedoms that you surrender today are the freedoms your grandchildren will never know existed. Now that's worth some thoughts while thinking. And this is thoughts while thinking, and these opinions are mine. And we got to look at this apathy that's going on. We've had it for a long time now, and we got to start voting for the ones that promote the free enterprise and liberty and freedom of speech and all sorts of freedoms, and not just move forward with more of these government controls that's taking away your rights, and voting for that free stuff. It's awful easy to sit there and say, well, you vote for me and I'll give you some free ice cream. Well, that ice cream melts and drops on the floor, and then you got a mess. And that's what we've got, is a mess from all of that stuff. And it's a part of apathy. And we got to look at that, and we got to think about it, and we got to look at the voting on that. And Aristotle said way back yonder, he says, tolerance and apathy are the virtues of a dying society. And I think that if you look back at the last couple of years, that we've got to revitalize our dying society, because we're about to lose it. And we got to get out of that quit thinking and the kingdom of forgetting. And we got to get back to watching our government and making them dance to our drummer and us not dancing to their drummer. And the old cowboy wisdom is that if you follow behind the lead cow, you're going to stop in the mess that they leave behind. And we're just traipsing through all that mess for the last 100 years that they've been leaving behind. And right now we're in a battle between socialism and communism, and we're facing just plain old outright communism right now. And I think we've had a free gift of it for the last 12 months, and well, I don't like it, and you probably don't like it either, and because communism kills, and we've got to keep calm and fight communism at its roots, and get back to pushing freedom of speech, our liberties and stuff our forefathers gave us. And it's a battle between good and evil. And right now we are in a battle with that evil. And that good and evil is coming at you right now through the big screen on TV and the big speaker on radio. And so it's the one you got to listen to. You got to listen to the freedom. And you got to think about that. You got to push on that. And, old evil sits there and says, are you going to vote for me? And good says, no, there's nobody worth me voting for. Well, that's where we got into this stuff, because if you don't vote, you're voting for the other person. You're voting for evil. And that's where we got is right now, is because a lot of people stayed out there. And good and evil can't walk hand in hand friendly, because it's two sides of the coin, and you got to choose which side you want. And I choose good over evil. And part of this evil is coming to you through critical race theory, and they're trying to do away with what kind of gender you are. They're trying to make everybody think gender free, to where you don't know what it is. But just go out and try to milk this old bull here. I don't think you'll like that very much. That's a gender. And cutting nuts out of a bull don't make him a cow. It makes him a steer. And cutting the nuts out of a man don't make him a woman. It makes him a eunuch. And think about that. That's what they're trying to sell you, that he's going to be a gender. And they're pushing the fact that trying to sell you that the buffalo is just a big old assault cow. Well, that ain't working either. I'm telling you, they get so funny sometimes. If it wasn't so sad, it would be funny. But we got to go back, and we got to change, and we got to look forward. We can't change what has happened in the past, but we can learn from it and to avoid making those mistakes in the future. And we don't want to make those mistakes in the future. We don't want to make them twice. We can't go back, but we can change where we're going in the direction. And the old cowboy wisdom is back again. You can't prevent trouble or evil visiting you, but you don't have to offer them a chair to sit in and relax and take over your kitchen. You can kick them out. That's the way we've got to do it. And they're trying to do away with what a woman is. Well, I like what a woman is in the old-fashioned way, but they're saying that they can't tell what a woman is anymore. Well, and this guy here, he's had his castration and he's trying to be a woman, and he's saying that he can have a period. Well, the period is that he can't. I'm telling you, they get so far out, you wonder what it is. But there's only one way to determine the gender, and that's to look at it. And this kid here, he knows. And every 2 or 3 year old knows what gender they are, and they don't want any questions about it. And it's natural working over 10,000 years of making babies and going straight, and that's how we replenish the earth. And we got to be proud of being straight, and we got to quit putting straightness under the rug, and they're doing the same thing about race. You got to love your race, and your race is what you are. You got to love your race. And you can love being black, and you can love being white, because you got to love your race, because that's what you are. You got to love yourself to be productive. And the white is a global minority, and we got to be proud of our whiteness and not quit apologizing for it. But we got to be proud of the blackness too, and the brownness and the whatever, and we got to stay with it. And just because we're a little bit different in lots of ways, and our DNA's a little bit different, no reason for embarrassment. We just got to love one another, and we can love one another. We don't have to fight one another all the time. We can have loving one human race, and we can move forward with it. And that's what we got to do, is just move forward with it and keep it going. And that's what is going to keep our freedom and liberties there, because we got to have freedom and liberties for everybody. And we got to just be ourselves. We just to be the one. We are what we are. And we got to remember we're what we are and make the most of what we are. And, the cowboy wisdom again says it's better to be a has-been than never was. Well, we don't want to be a has-been about our freedoms and liberties, and we don't want to be a never was either. So we got to fight to protect them, and we got to get back to it, and we got to make it work. And we're built to handle all whatever troubles come along. We're built to perform, and we're going to do it. And if you want to know where your heart is, where does your mind go when it wanders? That's where your heart is, and I hope it's going to where freedom and free enterprise and liberty in the life and the pursuit of happiness. Change is coming, and I hope it's a good change for all of us. And I think it's changing back to our basic forefathers' freedom and vision for this country, and we got to have peace, and I hope it brings peace, because we got to get back to making Congress work for us instead of us work for Congress. We got to tell Congress what to do instead of Congress telling us what to do, because when Congress is telling us what to do, there's no U-turn, and there's no freedom, and there's no liberty, and there's no pursuit of happiness. And the old cowboy wisdom again comes back, and that's true. But when you look at Congress, there's more horses' asses than there are horses, and we got to get rid of some of those, whether it's term limits or some way or another. Well, we can't go back to yesterday, but we can change tomorrow, and we can get back to our freedoms, and we can have our cup of coffee and relax and still fight for our beliefs. And we got to be sure that we don't look back on anything, and we got to be where you are, and we got to riding ahead of the herd. You got to look back and see if they're still following you, and I hope they're still following our forefathers in that pursuit of freedom. And I thank you for watching, and this is Thoughts While Thinking. And it's adios amigos, and we'll see you on the flip side.